Welcome to this explainer on motivation versus discipline, the executive's guide to relentless execution. We're going to dive right into a phenomenon that pretty much every single high achiever, leader, and executive has faced at some point. We'll be looking closely at why sudden bursts of inspiration almost always lead directly to burnout, and how you can fundamentally reframe your drive to achieve consistent, relentless execution. Look, if you're managing a team, driving a company forward, or honestly just trying to elevate your own personal performance, understanding the real difference between motivation and discipline is going to be an absolute game changer for you.
So I want you to think back for a second. Have you ever felt completely unstoppable? You know that feeling, right? Maybe you saw a video that really fired you up, or you read a story about a rival executive who pulled off something extraordinary, and you just got this intoxicating rush. In that specific moment, you felt like you can do literally anything. You told yourself, this is it. This time I'm going to be different. I am not going to quit. You probably started waking up at 4:30 in the morning, hitting the gym before heading to the office, aggressively mapping out your goals. You were unstoppable. But then something happened. And it happens to almost all of us. A few days or maybe a couple of weeks later, you wake up and you just don't feel excited anymore. That early alarm clock feels incredibly heavy. Dragging yourself to those morning workouts gets harder and harder. Suddenly, those massive corporate goals just don't seem quite as shiny as they did during that initial rush. The everyday friction of daily operations sets in, and slowly, quietly, you just stop pushing. So why does this happen? Why do we lose that fire? Well, that brings us to the motivation trap, and exactly why relying on your feelings is just a failing strategy. The simple truth here is that motivation does not last forever. Relying on how you feel to dictate your actions is a fundamentally broken strategy, especially for busy executives and high-stress environments. Motivation is just a chemical response. It's an emotional high, and biologically, it's designed to be fleeting. Just look at the contrast. Motivation is exactly like the weather. It is totally unpredictable. Some days it's sunny and you feel great. Other days it's cold, dark, and raining. Average folks let their success depend entirely on this unpredictable weather. But discipline? Discipline is like iron. It's absolute. It's a system that doesn't care if it's raining or sunny outside. The disciplined executive relies on a framework that simply says, I'm doing the work anyway. And zero. That is exactly the number of times discipline asks you if you're feeling motivated today. Zero is the number of times it asks if you're well-rested or inspired or ready to tackle that massive quarterly review. Discipline absolutely does not negotiate with your feelings. It just demands that you take the necessary action regardless of your emotional state. Which leads us to our next comment. See, average people wait until they feel motivated. They wait for perfect market conditions or total confidence before launching a product. But successful leaders completely flip the script. Step one, you take action first. You don't wait to feel inspired, you just move. You sit at the desk, you open the spreadsheet, you make that tough phone call. Step two, by taking that action, you create friction, and that friction generates momentum. And then step three, the motivation finally follows. Motivation is the reward for taking action, not the prerequisite. Disciplined leaders don't wait for a spark, they strike the flint themselves. This all boils down to being built on daily habits, because success, as we know, is absolutely not built on feelings. Think about the absolute most successful people in the world. Elite athletes, top-tier entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 leaders. They definitely don't wake up every single day feeling totally excited to grind. They have days where board meetings are disastrous, where they feel discouraged, where they just want to quit. But they keep going because they rely on systems. And this highlights a really painful gap. Everyone wants greatness. Everyone wants financial freedom, a great body, robust health. But very, very few people are actually willing to suffer for it. Few people want to spend the grueling years required to develop elite skills or train relentlessly. Everyone wants the successful exit and the corner office, but almost no one wants to embrace the mundane, painful daily work required to actually earn it. That's exactly why discipline is your ultimate superpower. Every single morning you wake up, you're making a choice about the leader you want to become. Every decision matters. Every workout you finish when you'd rather sleep. Every difficult business book you read instead of scrolling on your phone. Every single hour you spend learning a new market trend. Whenever you actively choose discipline over comfort, you're casting a vote for your future self. These unglamorous little actions might seem totally insignificant on a random Tuesday, but man, they compound into staggering results over time. But you have to get through the invisible phase first. You have to learn to trust the underground process. This right here is the hardest part of the entire journey. It's where most people, and honestly many executives, just abandon ship. It means staying committed to the strategy when the results are absolutely nowhere to be seen. You're putting in the early mornings, executing the discipline, but the revenue is still flat. But real growth is invisible at first. It's silent, relentless progress beneath the surface. Think of a seed buried deep underground. For weeks or months, nothing seems to be happening. Your competitors don't notice a thing. But beneath the surface, strong roots are growing. Structural integrity is being built in the dark. And it is only because of that invisible foundational work that the sudden, visible breakthrough eventually happens. As an executive, your career and your company work the exact same way. The effort you put in today may not reward you tomorrow. It probably won't reward you next week or even next quarter. But I can promise you this, if you stay disciplined, if you keep executing on those unglamorous daily habits. So let's talk about where champions are actually made and the sheer power of just refusing to quit. The reality of the business world is that the people who achieve monumental things are rarely the smartest people in the room. They aren't always the most naturally talented. More often than not, they're simply the ones who built solid foundations while everyone else was busy making excuses. Champions are absolutely not made when the crowd is cheering. Greatness is born in the early mornings before the sun is up. It's forged in the late nights at the office when everyone else has gone home. It's built in those unseen hours of preparation and in the quiet, lonely moments of sacrifice that no one will ever applaud you for. While others were looking for shortcuts, the disciplined were making undeniable progress. So, I want to leave you with a very simple, bulletproof operating system for whenever the pressure mounts. Number 1, are you tired? Work anyway. Number 2, unmotivated? Move anyway. Number 3, is the path forward incredibly difficult? Keep going anyway. Take the action, generate the friction, and force that momentum into existence. Ultimately, it all comes down to this powerful truth. Motivation starts the journey, but discipline finishes it. The executives who win aren't the ones who felt highly motivated every single day. They are simply the people who showed up every single day, quietly, consistently, relentlessly. They showed up until success had absolutely no choice but to notice them. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, so I have to ask you, when that alarm goes off tomorrow morning, are you going to check the weather or are you going to be iron?